And when I talk this way, I recognize the fact that there is always the need for the parochial feeling. The sense of community that goes with the well-being that must be characteristic of a religion which has to do with the ultimate destiny of man. So I read the Gospels with great intensity and scrutiny, seeing if I could find a clue in the Gospels which would be a vote on the side of the inclusiveness of the faith. And then I ran into this story of the Syrophoenician woman, and it was a great relief to me. I mean, and I say once again that in what I have to say now, any time, it is not a part of my purpose, intent, disposition, any other words you might think of, to do any violence to anything that is precious to anyone else. So please do not misunderstand me. I speak out of what I'm responsible for before God and not before anybody else. The Syrophoenician woman. Do you remember the connection in which it occurs in the New Testament? Jesus had been having a very great difficulty because he traveled from down south way up to Tyre and Sidon, almost incognito, because he needed to get his disciples off to a quiet place and regroup his forces. And into this kind of retreat, with the great issues of his mission before him, here comes this non-Jewish Syrophoenician woman, pressing her claim when all of his mind and thought were involved in trying to answer the question that the opposition of Israel had posed for his spirit. And she went, and the first thing he said, and I can almost hear it is not meet, woman, that I take the children's food and give it to dogs. This is what he told her. And not Fifth Avenue poodles either. But a dog in Palestine was a mangy scavenger. It is not meet that I take the children's food and give it to dogs. And you know what she said? Oh, let me read this. I won't. And then I won't stop. It's long after time. She has followed us all day, Master. Hook-nosed, insistent, yapping at our heels in commercial Greek. Her husband, a boat builder, those boats of gopher wood. Her daughter, it seems, possessed of a devil which you, Master, a Jew, are supposed to exorcise. Talk to her, Master. Send her away. Tell her you came to the children of Israel, not to Phoenician dogs. The poet couldn't bring himself, you see. Just couldn't quite bring himself in his poem to put these words on the lips of Jesus as they are in the gospel. The disciples tell him, talk to her, send her away, tell her you came to the children of Israel, not to Phoenician dogs. He turned on me sternly, but his voice smiled. You hear what they say, he demanded. Is it right, do you think, taking the children's food and tossing it to the dogs? Master, I replied, this is a Phoenician woman, feeling the bonds between us. A humor we shared alone. Even dogs are allowed scraps from the table when the children reject them. His face smiled too. You have understanding and faith, Mother. It will happen as you desire. It was true. Coming to the hill above Tyre, weary beyond all weariness, I fell on my knees, letting my eyes search where feet could not follow, looking down on the cluster of evening ships, the causeway with its moving chain of carriers, and the heap of murex shells outside the dye works. I saw her coming from the bazaars to meet me, my daughter. Her white, conspicuous among blues and purples. She did not need to speak. She walked up the hill as a girl walks, whose arms are her own. But for me, the story means a little more than this. For what the Syrophoenician said to the master was, the world is one, and you can't do for Israel without doing for others. There is an inner logic that binds all life. And I do not think that even God can be God in his world. If one single solitary human soul. Is left out. The only kind of God I can worship. I don't know about you, but I could not be happy in heaven if my brother is in hell. I could not be. While there's a lower class, I'm in it. While there's a criminal element, I'm of it. While there's a man in jail, I'm not free. And any religion that is less than that cannot speak to my deep needs. It may speak to yours, I don't know.